Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Over the Moon. So this is a donation reward for Smurf Vlogs, and it is a Netflix movie. That's pretty much what I know about it. I assume it has something to do with the moon and stuff. I've seen like a couple character designs, but that's about it. I don't actually know what this movie's really about. People are saying it's good, though. I've heard people talk positively about it, so there's that. But yeah, in terms of plot and characters and stuff, and just mostly everything, I have no clue. Um, but I'm definitely interested to see. I am definitely interested to see what this movie's about, and hopefully it ends up being good. But we'll see. We'll see. So we're just going to get this started, not waste any more time, and hope that it lives up to the somewhat notable level of hype it's gotten. So, that being said, let's get it going. When the screen fades to black, pause this, redirect, and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, every once in a while, you go into a movie knowing nothing about it or expecting to dislike it or just having no real thoughts on it at all. And because of that, it's like you don't really have expectations. But even despite that, or even sometimes you might have negative expectations. You might think it's going to be bad. But despite that, sometimes a movie can just wow you. Just impress you so much that is the way to put it. It wows you. Over the Moon wowed me. I went into this knowing nothing about the story, nothing about the characters. I'd seen character designs and stuff because I've seen the movie like shown on Netflix and stuff while scrolling through. And I've seen just character designs like on Twitter and stuff, and I had no real expectations going into this because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what it was going to be. I never saw a trailer. I never heard even a synopsis. So I go into this not really having any expectations, not expecting it to be bad, but not necessarily expecting it to be great either. I would say with certainty that this film is on the level of Disney's best. Like, it's not just Disney level, it's the level of Disney's absolute best. That is how fucking good this movie is. And it's just, I did not expect this. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. There's a couple things that I feel like could have either been done better or left out or whatnot. But it's really damn good. So this wowed me. So this is let me check something here. This is the story of a young girl named Fei Fei who grew up hearing this story of this moon goddess who swallowed these immortality pills and ascended to the moon, losing her love forever. She remained on the moon immortal while her love died back on Earth. And on Earth, by contrast, Fei Fei's mother passes away. And Fei Fei has to deal with the ensuing grief. For 4 years after that, she's completely stricken by it. She's absolutely miserable. But she wants to also retain that memory. And because of it, when her father is showing romantic interest in a new woman, and there's the possibility of this woman's young boy becoming her younger brother, she rejects it outright. She hates this idea. She runs away from this because she doesn't believe anyone can replace her mother. She doesn't want her father to forget the love he had for her mother. She doesn't want to move on. So in order to convince her father to not marry this woman, Fei Fei decides to build a rocket to the moon to get proof of the moon goddess's existence, because she believes that him losing his belief in the moon goddess is connected to him losing his love for her mother, which is not true, obviously, but this is how the mind of a kid can oftentimes work, especially in such a grief-stricken mindset. And this is something that this movie does handle really well. I've lost family. I have lost friends. I've, within only a couple years of each other, had both an uncle and my grandfather pass away. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. But I needed to move on. Living in grief forever, it doesn't help. And it doesn't, and moving on doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean that you're not still sad. It just means that you're able to continue living despite that sorrow. But either way, Fei Fei goes up to the moon, meets the moon goddess, who is so obsessed with bringing her love back to life that she's become a lot colder because of it. And like Fei Fei herself, has started to ignore all of the good things around her. And so Fei Fei has to find this treasure, this gift, to help the moon goddess, and eventually has to help the moon goddess herself come to terms with the loss of her love, while also coming to terms with the loss of her mother. And it's an absolutely stunningly gorgeous film. The visuals are fantastic. It's so beautiful. The voice acting, the singing, the music itself, absolutely phenomenal. And I really enjoyed the creativity behind it. The creativity with the color work and everything. But like I said, it's not perfect. There are a couple issues. First off is Gobi. Ken Jeong does a great job. I did not even realize that was Ken Jeong. That's amazing. But he did a good job, but I'm not a huge fan of the character. The character felt tacked on in order to have, this cutesy little sidekick character. He came in way too late in the movie, in my opinion, and just in the end, his literal only purpose was to be kind of like this comparison for Fei Fei to have to her brother. Her brother-in-law, I guess you could say. He's clearly meant to be a connection to her brother. And it's clear that that is the purpose for him being there. Even up in the end when he is kind of like the first one to go to the moon goddess to show her that she still has loved ones here. It's like you understood what his purpose was. And the problem is, again, he felt tacked on. He felt like he did not need to be there. There was nothing offensive or bad about his character. It just felt unnecessary. They could have taken him out and it really wouldn't have affected anything. Also, I feel like while very good, the story was admittedly a little bit generic. It's like we've seen stories on television, in movies, yada yada, about kids having to deal with a parent dying. It's honestly very common. And it's always the same, like, oh, the surviving parent is going to be remarried, the kid doesn't like this and rebels against it, yada yada yada. It's really really paint by numbers here. It's not bad, again, but it's such an overdone type of story that it just feels like it wasn't too much special outside of the mythology and whatnot in it. That's the stuff that really brought it to life and really saved it from being a little too generic. You know what I'm saying? That stuff really did help. Um, Otherwise, it's just a really fantastic film. Like I said, it's on par with Disney's best, and Disney's best has their issues too. Like the best Disney films are also aren't perfect by any means, but it's like even with those little things that could be changed or could be worked better, it was still a really phenomenal film. And for something that I went into just not knowing anything and just all I really have all I really have in regards to this movie in any kind of sense of knowledge is just a few character designs, basically. For it to wow me, for it to astound me this much, that's impressive. Usually, when a movie impresses me on this level, it's something that I knew about already. It's a movie that I've been already excited for, or a movie that, like, of course it's going to be good. It's an MCU film, or it's a really good Disney film that has a lot of hype surrounding it. Of course it's going to be good. But it's like this one, for it's like when you just do not know because you know nothing about it. It's like when it surprises you, when it wows you, it almost feels like it means more. You know what I mean? It almost feels like it's a bigger impact when you don't see it coming. And I think that's what really just does it for me the best with this film. That it just had that much more of an impact because I didn't expect it to be this good. And I've heard people talking well about this movie. I've heard people say they liked this movie. I hadn't heard spoilers, but I have heard people say just general like praise. And so it's like I knew people have liked this, but still, that doesn't necessarily mean anything with me. So I didn't want to just assume and forge like thoughts based on that. So yeah, I adored this absolutely. Um, it was just fantastic. So thank you to Smurf for donating for this. And please, if anyone, Smurf or anyone else has a donation request for a movie that's anything similar to this, please request it. But if you have any donation idea, any donation request idea, and you of anything you would love to see me react to, whether it be a movie, a series, something on YouTube, whatever it is, please feel free to donate if you can. Only if you can. Do not feel the pressure to do so otherwise because it's completely optional. But if you are able to and if you desire to, please feel free to donate. Please feel free to choose anything because it's almost impossible to know what I will and will not like. So please feel free to request anything you want for a donation reward. Any amount gets you a donation. Doesn't matter how much it is. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Over the Moon? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.